Hey everyone, welcome back to the Cast and Spear podcast. Today we have back on the show Erica Nelson, the host of the Awkward Angler podcast and a fly fishing guide out of Colorado. Today we are going to be discussing what it's like to be a guide. Welcome back to the show, Erica.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So I know you're pretty new to it, but I would love to kind of learn how you got into guiding.
Yeah, so I was a self-taught angler. I learned off of YouTube, and once I started to kind of get more and more into it, I really wasn't catching fish, so I wanted to get better. And that's kind of when I started getting online and using other social media platforms, maybe a couple dating online platforms, and finding other guides, that were willing to kind of teach me new things and whatnot. And so, I kind of noticed in the industry that there's a lot of common looking folks in that space. And so, I used to get a lot of folks of different backgrounds and cultures. For example, different women of color. I'm an Indigenous woman, and I saw that there was kind of a need for that space here in Colorado. So I'm actually one of the first Indigenous and women of color guides in Colorado to be a fly fishing guide. So it's been kind of an interesting endeavor of kind of learning it and then wanting to teach other people, being mentored myself, meeting all those new people, or that would kind of take me out and teach me different things, all the guides that I've met. And so just kind of accumulating this knowledge and this need. And I struggled with language. I struggled with conveying how to teach people how to cast. I didn't really know what specifically I was looking for. And so I would kind of just try different things, trial and error, basically, of trying to teach people instructions on casting and whatnot. So I finally found a guide school. And so here there's a local fly shop that put on a 5-day fly fishing guide school. And I registered for that and kind of got more formal training. And then I also kind of unpacked that, hey, I'm actually decent. I'm actually a decent angler. And getting like professional feedback was really helpful for my confidence and, just kind of, so I guess it was kind of multi things, right? Of seeing a need in the industry and then also loving the teaching and that development piece and seeing that inspired other people that want to get out in the water and improve. And then also improve my own technical skills as well. So I professionally guided hiking, backpacking, rock climbing back in my day. So I thought, you know what, why not add fly fishing to the list as well? I live in a great area for that. So
Oh, that's
yeah.
fantastic. So when you were at the guide school, what did they teach you? What did you learn in the 5 days?
Yeah, so it was a kind of like client care, what to kind of expect from other clients, their expectations, managing expectations, because some people will come in and think they're going to catch, the largest trophy fish of the day, but it's kind of just, hey, let's have fun. Yes, we can try to hope to catch that trophy fish, but also, there's some days where we might get skunked. Like that is a realistic possibility. And so it's just mostly like managing those expectations, client care, a lot of safety type protocol, and then technique as well. So kind of how to look for improving someone's skills as well. So we did a casting clinic. We also did a lot of etymology, so the study of bugs, and kind of how to look for different hatches, the different types of hatch charts this time, different times of the year, locations and permitting and all that fun stuff. So I found it super helpful, and it was just kind of that piece that I was missing to kind of help boost that next level of confidence to be able to become a guide.
That's fascinating. When you have a person say, "Hey, Erica, take me out," are you kind of pre-doing anything before you actually meet them? Like, hey, how much fly fishing do you know? Or do we sync up right when we first meet to see your casting, like just in the parking lot, so I can fix some things before we get to the actual river? Like, how does the process go when, like, say I wanted to be guided by you? What's the
Yeah.
process like?
Yeah, so typically you would go through the fly shop and they ask a few simple questions like, are you a beginner? How would you rate your skills? And then they kind of send that information to me. And then I typically call my client the night before, just to kind of see like if they have any questions. Do they need gear or do I need to bring gear? And then I kind of ask if they're right-handed or left-handed, and just kind of get a feel for their expectations that they have. What are they, looking for, et cetera. And then when we actually meet up, Yeah, I mean, some people just kind of want to get on the water right away and just start fishing. They don't want to they don't want to know anything. They just kind of want to sit there and cast and have a good time, drink a couple beers, whatever. And then I also get folks that really want to learn everything. They want to walk away. If I want to do this again on my own, how can you set me up for that? So, that's when I'll kind of spend a lot more time explaining like how to set up a reel, how to set up a rod, and then we kind of spend some time casting. So if they're super new, then yeah, we'll probably go to a parking lot, do some, casting instruction and kind of tweak it here and there. And I don't really spend a whole lot of time on that because people are just anxious to catch fish and get on the water. And then, if I'm trying to look for perfection in casting, then, that could totally throw somebody off or make them not as confident. And so there's a balance there of, hey, that'll get you started. We can at least roll cast. Let's go. Let's get on the water.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah.
Then after a full year, because this is your first full year of guiding, what are some of the lessons learned that you've kind of uncovered?
Yeah, I mean, I've learned a couple of like one having more confidence in myself. So that's been like a self-reflective type of lesson for me of, hey, I actually kind of do know what I'm doing, where I've been kind of self-doubting myself for so long, and just kind of being confident in my flight selection as well, and just kind of sticking with it has been really has paid off. I would say it gets clients fish, and I would say yeah, I guess I'm just still learning. I've had a really positive experience so far, and good guests, good feedback, good tips, and so I feel like things are going pretty well. I'm sure that some things around the corner that is going to hit me hard with the lesson someday, so I'm prepared for it. But nothing major as far as learnings other than discovering my own ability.
That's fantastic. Are you guys going after brook trout, brown trout? Which trout out there?
Yeah, so here in Colorado where I live, there's rainbow, brown, brook, cutthroat. Yeah, that's pretty much it here. Brook trout are pretty rare, so are cutthroat unless you go really high. I live at 9,000 feet elevation, and if I were to go higher, that's where a lot of great brook trout live and cutthroat as well.
9,000 feet. That's so high.
Yeah,
To live? Oh my gosh, that's higher than Half Dome here in Yosemite. My
yeah.
gosh. You must feel like $1 million when you come down to sea level and be like, wow, all my red blood cells, I'm a superhero.
Yeah, no, yeah, and I end up drinking a lot more than I should when I'm at lower elevation.
I can't even imagine the hangovers at 9,000 feet. That's got to be rough.
Yeah, you got to be careful around here. Drink lots of water.
What is your favorite fish to catch?
Oh man, I love anything really. I get excited even. I mean, there's some trout that I don't know. I just love anything really, but I've been kind of discovering more and more where bigger brook trout live. I've been used to kind of like tiny brook trout that are anywhere from like 1 inch to 3 inches. And the other day, I actually caught like a 12-inch brook trout, and that's the biggest one I've ever seen in this area. So they're kind of elusive, they're kind of rare. So whenever I see one or catch one, it's pretty special.
That's awesome. And then for those who do catch the fish, do you have any recommendations on releasing the fish so that they're not harmed?
Yeah, yeah. So luckily, at this high elevation, our water temperatures are still cool, but typically lower elevations, especially if you're in the Front Range, which is the Denver area, that water temperature can get pretty hot. So anytime it's over, 65 degrees, you kind of want to be a little more cautious on when you're fishing out on the water. So I would say check the water temperature because higher temperatures, the fish need more oxygen, and once we're kind of pulling them out of their element, they're going to get really overworked and over exhausted. So just kind of checking that out, and then making sure that you're keeping the fish wet. When you're if you're going to release it. And then also another recommendation would be to fish barbless. So that's easier to remove the hook as well, and that way you're getting the fish back in the water as soon as possible.
So do you also use one of those rubber nets? Or
Yeah,
okay.
definitely use a rubber net. Absolutely. Yeah, they can be pretty pricey, and I actually bought an upcycled like a tennis racket, and the person put a rubber base in there, which is pretty cool. So yeah, rubber is the way to go.
I dig it. Well, guys, I hope you go find Erica next time you're fly fishing in Colorado. Tomorrow, we're going to be discussing the outdoor industry and all the cool stuff about that topic. Thanks, Erica, for being on the show. Hey, one more thing before you go. Are you looking for other folks who like to catch fish? Well, if you are, join our free fish catchers group on Discord. Just like a little club, just with like-minded people who like to catch fish, share knowledge. Just head over to castandspear.com/club for a link, and you'll go straight over there. Whether you like to spearfish, surf fish, kayak fish, you name it. If you just like to catch fish, we want to chat. All right, see you guys in there.